Alright guys, let's talk about Parabolas Day 2. You don't have these notes, so if you're going to get a sheet of paper and start writing some of this stuff down, feel free to pause it. I'm going to do probably 1 and 3 off of this page real quick, and we'll do a couple more. The biggest thing is we've got to keep in mind what we're trying to look for. So for number 1, we're looking for the vertex, the value of P, the axis of symmetry, the focus, and the directrix. So we're looking for all of that information. Before we get started on that, this equation is very close to what we talked about yesterday. You had both equations on there. One had the fraction. If you're fine with that, that's cool. If not, you can multiply both sides by 16, and you get y plus 1 equals x minus 2 squared. Normally the squared is on the other side, so if you want to write that on the other side, flip-flop it, that's fine. You're going to end up getting the same thing, no matter what. That's an equal sign, by the way. Okay, so the first thing is the vertex. Vertex is the opposite numbers here, so instead of negative 2, it's a positive 2, so 2 comma negative 1. The next thing is you have 4p. Well, if you have 16, you just play a little game of 4 times what makes 16. So in this case, your p is 4. That's a 4 right there. Cool. Now let's talk about the fact that this is a vertical graph. So it kind of looks like this. We got 2 comma negative 1. That's my vertex. So since it's up, because it's a positive 16, if it was a negative 16, it would be downward. So anyway, it's up like a cup. Value of p is 4. So that doesn't really help me with my axis of symmetry, but that means my axis of symmetry is right there. It's going through the vertex, so it's x equals 2. And we talked about that on the other day, as far as that my axis of symmetry is going through the x value of my vertex if it's up and down. Next thing is my focus. So my focus is 4 units away. So up here, my directrix is 4 units away down here. So this is not drawn to scale. So if I add 4 units to my y value, it's going to be 2 comma 3. And if I subtract 4 from my y value, it's going to be negative 5. So y equals negative 5. Okay, so take a look at that. Let me know if you got any issues with that in tutoring or something like that. Let's move on to number 3. The vertex is 0, 0. The focus is negative 8. So let's just kind of, on real quick, rough sketch. Vertex is 0, 0. The focus is negative 8, 0. So that means it's opening up to the left like that. That means the directrix is 8 units away this way. So that means the distance right there, that's 8. That's 8. So that means that my value of p is 8. Since it's horizontal, it's going to be kind of the opposite of this. We're going to have our vertex, well, vertex 0, 0, so that makes this one real easy. So y squared equals, and then 4 times my p-value, so 32, and then x. That's it. If you like x on the other side, that's fine too. Either way, that's cool. The biggest thing we're getting at is the fact that this distance is 8 because the focus is that negative 8 comma 0. Focus is always inside the parabola. Oh, my bad. I missed something. It should be a negative 32 because it's opening to the left. My apologies. Okie dokie. And let's move on. Let's go to number 5, shall we? By the way, I'm in the hallway, so sorry about the ambient noise. We're going to first complete the square and move 5 to the other side. So I got x squared plus 6x equals negative 4y minus 5. Next thing I'm going to do is complete the square. So x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals negative 4y minus 5, and then plus 9. Got to be sure I add 9 to both sides. Next thing I do is I factor, so x plus 3 squared equals negative 4y, and then plus 4. Not p, my bad, y. We're almost there. The last thing I can do is factor out a negative 4. So then I get y minus 1. So that tells me that my vertex is at negative 3 comma 1 right there. Since it's having an x squared, that means it's vertical, so our options are either up like a cup, down like a frown. Since it's negative, that means it's down like a frown. 4 times what makes 4? 1, so that means my focus is here. Directrix is right there, and we just draw our little parabola. Okay, the last thing we'll talk about, and we'll do kind of a matching activity to go more in depth with this, but anytime you have or you're asked to say determine what type of conic section it is and complete the square, what we're looking for is if you end up with like something with no fractions and a radius, that's got to be a circle, right? Anytime you have the fractions like this, but it's a plus on the inside and it equals 1, that's got to be an ellipse, so that's your ellipse. If it's the same thing, but it's got a minus sign, you probably guessed it, that's our hyperbola. Terrible drawing of a hyperbola. And then the last thing, if it's got, I don't know, if it's like that or something like that, and that's got to be a parabola. So up like a cut, down like a frown, sideways, whatever you got there on that one. Okay, so that's kind of where we're headed as far as that goes. We're going to do number 6, kind of show you what I'm talking about. We've already done this problem before. We're going to get our x's together, get our y's together, get the numbers on the other side. Next thing, we're just going to complete the square. The problem tells us to do it. So half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. So I'm going to add 9 and 1 to 6, and I get 16. The last part of completing the square is that we're going to factor. So x minus 3 squared plus y plus 1 squared is 16. And since there's no fractions, and we got 2 square terms, it's got to be a circle. Alrighty. Number 7, go ahead and pause it, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Pause it. Cool. It's an ellipse. I won't go through completing the square. I believe in your abilities, but I do want to talk about the fact that anytime you have an x squared and a y squared term, that means it can't be a parabola. If it has the same coefficient, like on number 6, then it's a circle. If it has 2 different coefficients, but yet they're both positive, then it's an ellipse. And if it has 2 different coefficients and one of them is a subtraction, so if this is a subtraction sign or something like that, then it would be a hyperbola. Okay? Good luck. See you later. Bye.